Melty Blood type Lumina is an anime fighting game by French Bread, the studio behind Under Night In-Birth. As a fighting game beginner, I've never played a Melty game before, but I've heard good things, so I gave it a go. Jumping into the tutorial, I was struck by the long menu. Clearly, this is a thorough tutorial in the style of Under Nights. The similarities include the frame counts in the input history, helpful for diagnosing issues with the timing of your inputs, especially as you could see it in the demonstration as well. If you can see that you are pressing the right buttons but with a much longer gap than as portrayed in the demo, you're probably not pressing fast enough. It would be cool if the game had a more explicit timing visualization, like in Mortal Kombat's tutorial or Street Fighter 6's frame meter, especially in bits with a short window, such as when teching a throw. It also highlights how far you got in a combo challenge so you can see at which point you dropped it. The combo system is incredibly flexible and fluid. Melty Blood has auto combos, meaning you can press the same button multiple times and your character will act as though you were pressing a sequence of different buttons to produce a successful combo. I like that this is available because combos are crucial in this game, and this system means that if you are able to get a hit in, you can do a reasonable amount of damage even as a noob who hasn't spent the time practicing a character specific combo string. On the other hand, it brings a feeling that my control over my character is diminished. It's less satisfying than pulling off a combo myself. I'm thinking of making a video about auto combos and the beginner experience, so make sure you're subscribed if you'd like to see that. In this game, players can choose whether to play with auto combos on or off, so you get to play the way you prefer, which is ideal. Beyond auto combos, almost any button can cancel into any other button, though you have to be careful that you're not too far out of range for your later hits to connect. This makes it very easy to start experimenting with combos on a new character. It's super easy to do something that works, and as you learn to play, you can start to be more deliberate about what that something is. Likewise, the special move inputs are pretty much the same across the roster, making it easy to press buttons and see what comes out when trying different characters. While the tutorial is extensive, there are things they could have done to make it more noob friendly. This could include showing console specific buttons rather than just A, B and C, changing arrow directions based on where on the screen the character's player is, left or right, and showing the shoulder button shortcuts for throws and dashes etc. that require two or more of the main buttons to be pressed at once. Some mechanics don't give you an opportunity to use them in the tutorial, like the vital source system, which can regenerate some of your health. It explains it, but you don't see your health bar regenerating. There's also no built-in battles or scenarios during the tutorial to consolidate what you've learned so far. Once the tutorial got to the moon drive system, I started to feel overwhelmed and like I wasn't going to be able to remember any of this. I decided to just play a bit of the game with a couple of mechanics in mind and go back to the tutorial for more when I was comfortable with those. Heading to the story mode, none of the characters jumped out at me, so I went with Mario because of his name. In the first little visual novel style story snippet, I discovered that Mario is kind of obnoxious and wished I had gone with the weird little cat character Neko. One challenge was that with the frantic, fast-paced action and similar looking characters, a couple of times I lost track of which character was mine. I reminded myself using the fact that he's Mario, so of course he's the one in red, clues in the name. Oh crap. I like how the game flashes words on the screen when certain things happen. This way I could look things up in the tutorial after if I wanted to get a better understanding of what had happened in a fight. I picked the middle difficulty setting for my first story mode run. This provided a good balance. I did lose a couple of fights and needed to press continue, but it wasn't a big struggle to get to the end and see Mario's unique ending. After beating the story, I was surprised to see 0% cleared by Mario's name. Was this because I had used those continues? I decided to investigate and realised it probably refers to the character missions. The first few of these are an opportunity to try the character's special moves. This is great. It's a really straightforward way to get a quick idea of the tools available to a character before jumping into the story or another mode with them. I tested this approach of trying the missions first with the silliest looking character, Neko.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Cool. We've got laser beams, funky flying mechanics, and some Faustian item play. Neko Ark's story is silly and funny. She is almost as lost and confused about what is happening in the game's plot as I am. Melty Blood is a spin-off of a visual novel, so for lore hounds there is plenty of context for the game's story out there. The visual novel has been adapted to manga and anime, and a remake which came out on PS4 and Switch is due to be released next year in English, so there are lots of ways to experience the full story if you get really into the characters. You can also get Melty Blood Archives as paid DLC, which contains a lot of art and story. Speaking of which, apart from these archives, the only paid for DLC is announcer voices. The game has released regular updates since release, including several new characters, which have all been free for owners of the game. This is far from the norm in the fighting game genre, where some games announce their paid for DLC characters before the game is even out. That's a shame, if maybe a DLC character would be the one that you really enjoy playing and connect with, but you never find that out and drop the game because it would have cost extra money to try it out. So I'm super glad Melty Blood's extra characters were free and there was nothing standing in the way of me playing Neko Ark. So after finishing her story mode, I decided to take this wacky character online. I was playing on PS5. It's a shame this game doesn't have crossplay because it's also available on Switch, PC and Xbox, so the somewhat niche community is split between platforms. I also bought the game on Switch to practice in bed, and I've not been able to find matches on that console, which is a shame as it runs great. I get the impression that the biggest community for the game is on PC, but on PlayStation I found it easy to find ranked matches, including some against others without many online matches under their belts. I was still getting consistently destroyed, but having fun practicing my moveset and landing the occasional auto combo. That was until I met another Neko Ark player. As the first round started, the other player crouched and we slid across the ground until the timer ran out. The game has a mechanic that lets you charge your meter at the cost of some health, which my opponent then did, leading me to getting my first online Melty win without landing a single hit. Having played a few online matches and the story mode a few times, I had developed a bit more of an appreciation for some of the other characters. Melty Blood has some serious air mobility, and some characters, including Neko Ark, have unique and fun twists on it. I like the look of Kohaku. She flies around on her broomstick. It's kinda cool. So I jumped back in with her, and after a few online defeats, I actually got a win. A legit win against someone who was actually playing the game, not just floating around with me. Okay, I went on to lose the set 2-1, but still, the feeling of winning was great, and it felt like even though I am still definitely at the beginning of my Melty Blood journey, I had taken a step forward down that path. Going to play Kohaku's story mode, I found that it had to be unlocked by first beating the story with her and her sister Hisui together. They can fight together or individually. There are a few things to unlock in the game to achievements or in-game currency you're rewarded by playing. This can be an added incentive for players who like collecting stuff to explore more of the characters, even if they're not bothered about seeing each bit of the story play out. While there are limited learning tools in the game, I have found it fun and comfortable to try things out and learn as I go. It's a relatively niche fighting game but with a passionate online community, so you will always be able to find someone to offer advice or play a match, on PC at least. I would like to see French Bread add some accessibility options such as audio feedback to open up the game to players with visual impairments and make Melty Blood accessible to the widest possible audience. Play what looks cool to you. Play what your friends want to play. And if you want to explore a fun and flexible fighting game with bonkers movement and player-friendly business practices, play Melty Blood type Lumina. Thank you Tony from Tony Fighter Alpha 2 Turbo for recommending this game to me in the comments of my Pocket Bravery video. Tony plays a lot of fighting games, among others, and has a cute dog, so check out his channel if that sounds cool to you. And if there's a game you think I should take a look at and share my beginner's experience, let me know in the comments and I'll check it out.